What's up, you guys? It's John. I have a super cool new green screen and I'm wearing a hat because, like most of America right now, I can't get a haircut. But today I am bringing y'all a brand new video on how to record vocals in Garageband iOS using a pair of these. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm a solo artist that records and mixes all of my work in Garageband iOS using this pair of Apple earbuds. And the reason I do that is because I'm trying to prove the point that if you love music and you want to create music, you should be able to do that even if you don't have the money to go out and buy all the fancy equipment or hire a professional. Now, very recently, I just put out a video where I did a cover of Porter Robinson's Get Your Wish. And as you saw just a moment ago, in that video, I was using this pair of Apple earbuds as my recording microphone, although that wasn't really an accurate representation of what I'm actually doing when I record my vocals. So I wanted to make this video to kind of teach you guys what it is that I'm really doing, so that hopefully if you're not able to go out and buy the fancy microphones that you want, you can still get a studio quality sound out of your vocals. So the first thing I want to talk about is where actually your microphone is on a pair of Apple earbuds. You might not be using these earbuds, you might be using something else, in which case, I don't know. If you are going to record on these, your microphone is actually right here on this volume rocker. A lot of people seem to think that it's either on the buds themselves or that it's on your phone. It's not, it's on the volume rocker, and so that is where you want your voice to be going when you're recording. Now, as far as positioning goes, this is pretty much what I'm doing when I record my vocals. As you can see, I have the wire very tight, very tense, and that's because I don't want there to be any wiggle room where my microphone can take in any just air or noise from things shuffling around. I keep it very tense, and I try to keep it right about next to my face. The reason I do this is because when you're singing, you are pushing air out of your mouth, and when that hits your microphone, it's going to make this really ugly sound that will just completely ruin your vocal. So what a lot of recording artists will do to deal with this is they will use what's called a pop filter, like the one in this picture, which will sit in front of the microphone and actually stop the air from hitting the microphone while you're recording your vocals. Since obviously we can't put a pop filter on a pair of Apple earbuds, my alternative is just to put the earbuds next to my face, and I found that I'm still able to get a perfectly clear and present vocal consistently, even with me doing that. Now, I do want to say that's only what I'm doing if I'm singing softly. If I'm singing a bit more loudly, let me actually show you guys. I will generally pull the microphone farther away from me like so, and just try to make sure that my mouth isn't aiming directly at the microphone. Now, you might be thinking, wait, John, but when you pull the microphone further away, that's how you lose presence. And yes, the same people who told you that probably told you not to use Apple earbuds when you're recording in Garageband iOS. I'm telling you that you can, and I've used this technique already in some of the first songs I ever released, like Disappointed in Scenarios. So, now that I've told you how much you absolutely can cheat the system, we need to talk about something that you can't cheat: your sound space. As much as I love circumventing nature and doing the thing that is just absolutely wrong, you do have to be in a space that is quiet and as sound repellent as possible when recording your vocals, to make sure that you're, again, not getting air or ambience or reverberation or anything like that in your vocal mix that can just mud up the entire sound quality. Obviously, I'm not the guy who has money to go out and create an entire home studio, and I'm not the guy who has the money to even go out and buy soundproofing panels, so my alternative is to sing generally in my car. I find that that is a perfectly small and quiet and sound repellent space. I can take it wherever I need to go to make sure that I'm somewhere that isn't causing a lot of noise or disturbance, and I can sing as loudly as I want to without getting any kind of echo or reverberation. Now, you can also get away with singing in your room or in your closet. I do that a lot, but I especially try to prioritize getting as airtight of a sound space as possible when I'm going to be singing loudly. So we've talked about where your microphone is, where to position it in front of your face, what space you want to work in when you're recording your vocals. The last thing I want to touch on is kind of just a little unorthodox method that I use to make sure that I'm getting a consistent sound and volume out of my vocal when I'm doing all of these weird things. Obviously, when you're trying to reinvent the wheel, you're going to come up with a lot of problems that the wheel didn't have. And so one of these problems is that your compressor probably is not prepared to deal with all of the offbeat methods that you're using to try and achieve a quality sound. And so in my experience, the vocal tends to fluctuate in volume even when you're setting your compressor exactly where it needs to be. My way around this is to set 2 vocal tracks, one for my low register or soft voice and one for my high register or full voice, and sing in those accordingly with the compressor set where it needs to be to make sure the vocal sounds consistent all the way through. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my video on how to mix vocals in Garageband iOS, there it is right there. Go watch it. There's a lot of what I'm talking about here that goes hand in hand with the information in that video. But if you have seen it, you're probably familiar with how I talk about there being 3 main vocal tracks that I use for my main vocal. The first one, where I put all of my presence, my mid to high end, that is the only one that I will duplicate. I'm not saying that that's what you have to do, but that's all I feel is necessary. And I also want to leave the disclaimer that this isn't something I always do. A lot of times, even with all the weird stuff I'm doing, my compressor is fully equipped and prepared to deal with the fluctuations in my voice and in my volume and make it stay equalized. This is just kind of an extra method to allow you to be prepared for those instances where that's not the case, so you can still get as consistent of a vocal as possible. And that's pretty much it. That is everything that I'm doing in GarageBand iOS to record my vocals. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did learn something or you just like the content, definitely give me a like and subscribe for future videos. I have been and will be coming out with weekly videos from here forward, either on more tutorials on GarageBand or cover videos. And yes, I will be putting out more original songs very soon. Please look forward to it. So I hope you guys stick around. I'd love to see you in those future videos. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and peace out.